Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Playing World Tanks. I'm AJ, and today we'll be looking at a game that I had in my Panzer 58 Mutz, which is the German Tier 8 premium tank. It is available in the EU gift shop, and I thought I would make a video about why, if you're interested in this tank, why you should get it, and possibly drawbacks if there are any to not getting this tank. Now, prior to the introduction of the Scorpion, I really thought that the Panzer 58 Mutz was probably the best tank you could buy for the money they were charging. It's really good tank, probably better than some of the tier 8 medium tanks in the tree. I would rate this above, for example, the Soviet T-44. I would rate this better than probably the Panther 2. It's probably more closer to the Indian Panzer than any other tank in the tree. So what makes this tank so special is that it has 212 pen, good gun depression. It has trollish armor, unlike the CDC, which often cannot bounce low tier tanks to save its life. But all in all, very good tank nonetheless. Now, first of all, another thing you want to keep in mind about the Sand River is that where I am at is a very good place to sort of like catch heavies that are taking the shorter route into the southern flank. You can do this actually from both sides, but you want to keep in mind that the RD, if it's present on the map, will actually try to focus you down, because more often than not you're very stationary when doing these things, and if you're spotted, it's relatively easy to hit you in the face. Now, since there wasn't RD in this game, I kind of decided this would be a good spot to be here. Another thing you want to keep in mind is that if there's not a lot of people present on the minimap, like if you don't see a bunch of their heavies, chances are they're rolling down the middle, and at that point you just want to make your exit relatively quickly and run away from the enemy heavies, because you're probably not going to be your armor's not going to hold up against tier 9 or even tier 8 heavies. So I don't think you should stick around long enough to sort of like brawl with them, unless you have support, of course. Now here I'm just taking advantage of this location, trying to find shots. This is a relatively old replay. I forget which patch it's actually from, but same kind of claims apply to this tank as they did back in when this game actually took place. Other thing you can actually do is you can take a very fast tank destroyer like a Grill or 268 and even a 263 here and catch somebody going to the southern flank. So again, not a lot of people do this, and it's a really good opportunity to sort of like get some damage in. Now here, since I've run out of options, I decided I would go over and push out in the VK-2801. Unfortunately, he dies before I can get there. Again, I'm just trying to help the southern flank as best to my ability, and I noticed that the T-32 has shots on me. At this point, I am either been continuously lit ever since I fired, or there's was just a fluky shot by the T-32. Anyways, I decided to stick around since there's actually cover provided by the hill, which makes taking damage from the southern flank relatively I would say a minor issue at this point. So again, just helping my team out to the best of my ability. I really can't, I really don't want to go anywhere. I can go somewhere. I could go north, I could go even south, but going south, leaving this position is probably no better than what I'm doing right now. So north, it seems like, needs a bit of help, and at some point I would have to leave this to kind of go help them. And that's precisely what I think I'm thinking about doing, because at the end of the day, if the northern flank falls, it becomes very problematic to stay in your base. But it's still not as problematic if the southern flank falls, because generally with the northern flank, you still have hull down spots to fire at the flank at the enemies who are coming into your base. But if the southern flank falls, they just literally just roll into your base, and is very easy shots that people can take from all the way across the map. So no need for alarm as of yet. So I'm just sticking around here and trying to find any more shots. It seems like nobody's trying to like dislodge me from this position anyway, so I don't feel like I need to go anywhere or do anything that I haven't been doing before. So again, trying to find shots. I'm sure this STI probably hits me by now, and I have really good shots, but oh, just mistimed my shot there. That would have been easy damage there. And now the enemy is doing something that I wouldn't recommend, is that if you want to push the northern flank, you want to go out and you want to go in. So you want to basically pincer the enemy's cap. What they're doing is they're basically driving through the middle, if you see in the mini-map, and that is something you don't want to do, is because if there's 1 or 2 tank destroyers in base, before you get to any sort of cover, they will probably shave half of your HP off pretty easily. So that is something that even if you take the northern flank, you shouldn't be doing all that often. So anyways, back to what I was doing. I was just trying to whittle down the southern flank, and not that there's very few people left on the southern flank, I am still kind of surprised that our team has not decided to push in. And again, this T-28 makes the same mistake as the tanks before him. He's taking the shortest route to get in, and I've already taken more than half of his HP off. At this point, it's just a matter of time before I do the rest of it in damage. But he angles towards me, hoping to bounce shots. I'm aiming for the cheek of the T-20 prod. It's kind of hard at this range, but I just don't have enough pen to pen him, so I resort to loading APCR rounds to deal with him. But he's effectively hidden in that bush now, and I don't want to be shot in the face by the T-20 prod. There's a enemy lightweight that comes up behind me. At this point, I need to turn around and deal with him. Again, should have loaded regular rounds for this guy, but you know, it doesn't matter at this point. I bounced off the T-54 lightweight's very angular turret, but that was to be expected. I guess I'm the only one left this far behind to deal with the enemy tank, so I'm gonna go and try to deal with this T-54 lightweight. So again, it's not much that you know, like for example, since the northern flank has actually fallen, like if you can tell, that there's not much, you know, the enemy can do besides capping you out. And at this point, it's easier to just for any defenders to just come back and deal with them. And at this point, the T-54 lightweight was trying to avoid it getting shot in the face by our tank that's in the ditch, but I managed to take both of them out in the process. Now there's only the T-28 prod left on IS-6, who was, I think, last spot in the middle, and a couple of other tanks. And so at this point, I'm just gonna pretend to be base defender, because I'm pretty sure that either the I-6 is coming this way or he's either headed back to his base. So we'll find out soon enough which it's going to be. And so we spot another tank in the middle. I'm just trying to make sure that no other tank is actually coming for the base, because you don't want to be in the open if a tank has line of sight on you, because there's very little cover that is afforded to any tank that is pushing out. So the prototype is spotted, and he's actually taken out before I can even put a shot into him. So again, not something I could have done anything about. So I thought, like, now there's only 3 tanks left, I guess this is a good time as any to sort of like venture out and see what is what on this map and where the enemy is actually hiding their tanks. So I think I will spot the IS-6 again, and the T-28 prod gets spotted in the middle. I just barely have a shot, and I managed to put one more shot into him. I'm sure at this point he's very thrilled that I've returned to finish my job. He gets promptly taken out. That leaves that enemy scout and an IS-6 unaccounted for. The enemy scout, I just don't want to chase him, but the IS-6 is here somewhere. So at this point, there's a tank closer to him than I am, so it doesn't really, I don't really care. IS-6, of course, you know, firing APCR at me, but it's fine. I can pen him in the regular rounds, it doesn't really matter. By now he's reloaded, and at this point I really don't care about my HP all that much, just because I've basically he's the only guy left, and I'm spotting him for whoever's shooting him in behind him, so it doesn't really matter. He's gonna die either to me or either to the tank behind him. Now I actually can't take a shot from him, so I need to be more careful. IS6 decides to poke out again, sees me like lining up a shot for him, and then he decides no, he'd rather take on the other tank who's behind him. At this point I hear him fire, and I was trying to get a higher vantage point to take him out, but before I can do that, he gets taken out by the friendly, and that's all she wrote for this game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and of course watch any of the other World of Tanks videos that I have on this channel. And this incidentally is the highest XP game that I've had in the Mutz so far, so hopefully I'll see you in the next episode of playing World of Tanks.